No video game developer in the world has found more success with the game remaster than Rockstar Games. The jump from PS3 to PS4 could have been death for Grand Theft Auto V, a game that was released to great success at the end of a generation. With no backwards compatibility on these machines, GTA V would need a full-on port to the new hardware to continue its life. And continue its life it did. With over 145 million copies sold, GTA V Enhanced Edition became the killer app for PS4 and Xbox One. Most people that purchased the new hardware picked up a copy of GTA to go with it, despite the fact that it was a remaster of a last generation game. GTA V Enhanced Edition's success has made it clear more than ever that Rockstar Games has changed and are all about quality over quantity these days. They've become a studio that is okay with releasing a single, insanely polished, brilliantly made, deeply satisfying title over the course of an entire generation, and will then proceed to milk it for absolutely everything it's worth. With the second remaster of GTA V upon us, I think it's a near certainty that we'll be seeing an enhanced edition of Red Dead Redemption 2 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC, probably sometime in 2022. With close to 40 million copies sold, Red Dead Redemption 2 was and still is an absolute juggernaut of the video game industry. In fact, that number looks small compared to one game and one game only, and that would be Red Dead's very own big brother, GTA V. The Pippin to GTA's Jordan. Any other publisher in the industry would absolutely kill for these numbers. So like GTA V before it, the demand is clearly there for Red Dead to live on in enhanced form on new platforms. Anyone who has followed my channel knows how much Red Dead means to me personally, so ideas for a remaster of Red Dead Redemption 2 have been bouncing around in my brain for a while now. It's time to let them out and put the speculation hat on once again. I'll give my thoughts as someone who has dedicated much of my life to the franchise on what I'd like to see enhanced, updated, or changed with a next generation re-release of the game. While similarities obviously exist between Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA V, I think it's clear that a potential enhanced version of Red Dead would require a different type of focus to create excitement for players. We mainly talked about GTA V's visuals in my other video. After all, it's a 2013 game that had a 2014 remaster that is now being remastered in 2021. Those visuals are somewhat outdated and need a fresh coat of paint. Red Dead Redemption 2, on the other hand, is still considered by many to be the best looking game ever made, or at least somewhere in the top 5. So while I would expect some kind of visual upgrade with a PS5 remaster, that simply won't be enough to wow players like it would with GTA 5. Simply put, Red Dead is going to need to work a little harder to get that same love. Sorry, Scotty. So today I'll go over what I'd like to see added to an enhanced Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll look at other modern games and well-done PS4 to PS5 remasters for inspiration, and I'll take what I like from those titles and try to apply these same ideas to Red Dead Redemption 2. This game is great, but can always be improved, and the new release on next-gen machines is the perfect chance to clean up some of the game's issues. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. 3 changes, additions, or upgrades I'd like to see in a potential Red Dead Redemption 2 enhanced release. As I mentioned, the graphical upgrades are going to be less significant for a cutting-edge game released in 2018 that was designed for PS4 and Xbox One hardware compared to GTA V. Also, city-based open-world games with all those various reflections constantly present lend themselves far better to upgrades like ray tracing. The difference is immediately clear when looking at windows, cars, and wet asphalt when ray traced lighting is added. However, ray tracing is a defining feature of next gen, so I'd expect Red Dead Redemption 2 to receive that treatment nonetheless. The Witcher 3's upcoming next gen remaster is already confirmed to have ray tracing implementation. And you wouldn't want to be one-upped by CD Projekt Red, would you, Rockstar? To get a super rough idea of how ray tracing could transform the more natural look of Red Dead Redemption 2, we can look at Central Park in Spider-Man Remastered. Or how about the Desert Badlands in Cyberpunk 2077? Running at 4K and 30 frames per second on the Xbox One X, Red Dead Redemption 2 is legitimately still one of the best looking games ever made, even after the launch of new consoles. But now we could do even better. In addition to a 4K 30 FPS with ray tracing option, I would fully expect to see a 4K 60 FPS option as well. Red Dead Redemption 2 at 60 FPS feels so wonderfully smooth on PC, and it's time for console players to get in on those extra frames as well. Other nominees for the Best Looking Game Ever award have already received this treatment. Ghost of Tsushima runs at 60 FPS on the PS5 and looks incredible. The Last of Us Part 2 has received the same love as well. With Red Dead Redemption 2 running at 60 FPS, we truly have the holy trifecta of last-gen games with god-tier visuals running at 4K 60 on current-gen hardware. And don't forget those sweet, sweet SSD load times. Aw yeah. The 60 FPS Red Dead Redemption 2 bleeds into my next point. As a small quality of life change, I would really like to see the updated controls from Red Dead Online incorporated into the single player of Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not sure how many are aware of this, but the overall movement, animations, and menus in Red Dead Online were sped up dramatically a couple years back with an update. Unfortunately, the single-player mode did not receive these changes, and I think now is the perfect time to fix that. The slow, deliberate animations in Red Dead Redemption 2 never really bothered me, but it's probably the #1 complaint I've seen aimed at the game, and it's something that turned a lot of players off of it entirely. With snappier controls and 60 FPS, I think that would do a lot of good in convincing a large group of players to give the game another shot. I gotta tell you, this feels really, really good. If GTA 5 could get a first-person mode with its enhanced edition, surely bringing over these small tweaks to the way characters move should be no problem at all. Finally, I'd like to see the addition of Red Dead Online exclusive content into the single-player mode. We actually received some of those online exclusive items in the PC release of Red Dead Redemption 2, but since then there have been a bunch of online content updates, and nothing more has been added to the single player. I really hope we see online exclusive weapons, horses, and outfits added to the single player. Those legendary animal outfits are so awesome. I need to see Arthur rocking the Black Panther. Red Dead Online has come a long way in just over 2 years. What was once a barren wasteland with nothing to do but catch fish, now offers players a bunch of story missions and 5 engaging roles to play through. However, I'm afraid Red Dead Online is already heading down the same path as GTA Online and becoming far too overwhelming for people just trying to dip their toes into the world. With Red Dead Online being released as a standalone title from the single player and being available on Xbox Game Pass, more and more new players are going to give the mode a shot. I've also heard from a lot of lapsed players who lost interest in the game after realizing there was nothing to do back when it first came out. Now, with all of these roles added in, they're willing to jump back into Red Dead Online to see if it's improved. But unfortunately, a good chunk of them run into a wall almost immediately. They want to play one of these cool roles they've heard all about, but don't have enough gold to pay for it. I think Red Dead Online is long overdue for something like the Criminal Enterprise Starter Pack for GTA Online. Every new copy of GTA 5 comes with this included and gives new players a much needed boost with some free cash, properties, vehicles, and weapons. For Red Dead Online, some kind of Frontier Pursuit starter pack needs to be a thing. Give players the original 3 roles for free, in addition to some horses, weapons, cash, and gold. With Bounty Hunter and Collector, new players would at least have a solid way to acquire some gold and cash from the start, which would hopefully encourage them to continue playing through the game. As it stands right now, there's a giant 15 gold bar barrier in the way that a lot of new players just aren't going to bother with. Making things expensive at the very beginning of the game is a great way to make a bad impression and turn people off of Red Dead Online forever. Now, that being said, with the hype and surge in players surrounding the release of a remastered Red Dead Online, it would also be the perfect time to release a new role that players would have to pay for via traditional means. There is no shortage of fun, potential roles that could easily be incorporated into the world of Red Dead Online. To go into each of them in detail would take me hours, so instead, let's quickly go through some of the ideas that have come to mind for me over the years. Fisherman, Horse Tamer, Botanist, Gunslinger, Artist or Photographer, Captain, Inventor, Musher, Aviator, Outlaw, Conductor, Athlete, Prospector, Oil Tycoon, Santa Claus, and the list goes on and on. No matter what role Rockstar goes with next, I do hope it allows players to receive gold as a reward like the Bounty Hunter. As the game exists right now, plenty of the roles pay out in cash, but not nearly enough pay out in gold. Now, if Rockstar really wanted to make a big splash with an enhanced version of Red Dead Online, then a small role update wouldn't be enough. We would need much more. We would need our heists moment, or better yet, our Cayo Perico moment. Like I said before, Red Dead needs to work harder than GTA to make an impression. Well, what better way to attract players to the mode than by giving us an entirely new area to explore? An explorer role could have players travel to the mysterious island of Gorma to find new, exotic collectibles, horses, alcohol, outfits, plants, animals, and so much more. Or, better yet, the game could finally have us travel south of the border to Mexico and allow us to explore a region that isn't in the single-player mode at all. Of course, that means new story missions with fully voiced cutscenes, just like we saw with the Moonshiner role. I really hope Rockstar doesn't make us wait 7 years to add a new area like they did with GTA Online. The land is right there. It's big, it's vast, and it's empty. Now it's time to fill it in and give players a real big incentive to dive into this awesome world. The potential for Mexico is endless. As great as Red Dead Redemption 2's map is, it was designed for the single-player story first. Mexico could be crafted specifically for Red Dead Online and build a solid foundation that is ready for any type of future content updates. This would be super hype, and I hope Rockstar is willing to make a big move like this to really help thrust Red Dead Online into the spotlight. So the theme of this video is the fact that Red Dead needs to work harder than GTA to impress the masses, and with this next prediction, that couldn't be more true. We know the single-player DLC dream for GTA 5 is dead, but does it have to be that way for Red Dead? Does it, Rockstar? The fact of the matter is this. Compared to GTA, the characters in Red Dead are far more interesting and fleshed out. There's so much more storytelling potential here compared to GTA. We really need to look no further than our main man, John Marston. I would love to see a new post-game mission line for John, a third epilogue of sorts. Just a handful of new missions telling more of John, Jack, and Abigail's story that continues to bridge the gap between Red Dead Redemption 2's ending and the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 1. There are a lot of loose ends from those 4 years between the games that could be addressed here. I mean, John has a daughter that we never meet in Red Dead Redemption 2 and has died before the events of Red Dead Redemption 1. There's definitely a story there. Also, there's the matter of Abigail and Jack being kidnapped by the Bureau of Investigation just before we take control of John in Red Dead Redemption 1. And those are just ideas based on what we know. Of course, Rockstar could use this opportunity to tell an entirely new story that's more detached from the events of either game's main story. I think it would be nice to make some more use of that giant New Austin part of the map that we really hardly got to visit at all in the base game's story. Let us end on perhaps the biggest long shot of all. Give the people what they want, Rockstar. A standalone Sadie Adler story. The success of a game like Spider-Man Miles Morales is proof that the market is more than willing to pay for a new, shorter, but still polished installment of a popular franchise. Open world games these days are so huge and so detailed, and the result is insanely long development cycles. Fans of Rockstar games especially know this all too well. With Miles Morales, Insomniac was able to release a quasi-sequel to 2018 Spider-Man only 2 years later, to massive critical and commercial acclaim. All the while, work continued on Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and surely the proper Spider-Man 2. I don't know about you, but I would gladly take a 10-hour-long experience set in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 that tells a new story and follows a different character, especially if it meant only waiting 3 years between Rockstar games as opposed to 5+. It would be such a shame to just throw away this incredible world that they've built after only 1 game, so I really hope Rockstar sees the value in the shorter AAA experiences. Like Miles, I'd expect to see the game sold standalone for $50, or as a bundle with the Red Dead Redemption 2 remaster for $70. Which is why I'm even talking about such a thing in this video. See what I did there? It all ties back together with the remaster. Look, as long as the speculation hat is on, I might as well map out a quasi-sequel to Red Dead Redemption 2 that releases the same day as a remaster. It's a proven strategy and you can't really argue with those sales. A shorter experience like this would also give Rockstar a chance to get more acquainted with the new hardware and try things that wouldn't be possible with a remaster of a last-gen game. Sadie would be the perfect character to follow and get a deeper understanding of in the form of a 10-hour adventure that takes place after the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. She quickly became a fan favorite, and at the end of RDR2, I was left wanting more. I think it would suck if we never see her again. Realistically, a Red Dead Redemption 3 starring Sadie is probably unlikely, and at this rate would release in like 2040. So a short, standalone Sadie experience would be the best compromise in my mind and would give us something to look forward to in the short term as work continues on Grand Theft Auto 6. And that is going to wrap it up for today's video. I'm definitely going out on a lot of limbs here, but I do think Rockstar has to go a bit above and beyond with a potential Red Dead Redemption 2 remaster for all the reasons I've already gone over. These machines are fully backwards compatible, so if they want 40 million players to double dip, they're really gonna have to earn it. Graphical and technical upgrades aren't enough. I think a big Red Dead Online update and some compelling single-player DLC is necessary if Rockstar wants Red Dead Redemption 2 to live on in a new generation, much like GTA 5 did over the last 6 years. If you like this video and want to see more Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. With the imminent release of a new Red Dead Online update as I record this, keep it locked here in the coming days for videos, guides, and coverage as I make my way through all the new stuff. Also, it's E3 time. I can't believe this announcement. Also, it was so hype when Nintendo made this announcement. And how about new Zelda trailer? And how about Square Enix? What a show. I'll be following up on any big hype E3 announcements that catch my eye, but that's it for today. So until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.